Hello everybody and welcome to a brand new ESO video with me, Sherman. Today we're taking a look at Patch Notes version 3.3.0, which is the new PTS Dragon Moans DLC patch notes. As you can see, Gene and them made a really cool photo of that. It's funny. You had to see the live stream to see why it's so funny. It's because Mike Finnegan was always like, oh, this is how it looks. And then the fact that they did it with the patch notes kind of is funny. So let's get right into this. First off, we are going to cover every aspect of the patch notes to a degree. I'm going to go over the new dungeons. I'm going to go over the new gear sets, the new monster sets. I am going to go over the outfit system, the new storage home system, and then we're going to go over a lot of the base game changes to the core skills and gameplay. Now, I'm going to say this right out the door. I've already looked at this stuff, so I already know what's coming. And I'm going to tell you this now. The new gear sets, some of them are meta. Or they will be, because they are insane. So let's get right into this. So we can see the table of contents goes over all the new stuff coming into this DLC. But let's take a look at the two new dungeons. Fang Lairs was once a large dwemer mine, or dwarven mine. Their glory, however, was laid low by the dragon Thurvakun centuries ago. The dragon used the dwarven halls as its lair for countless years, so much so that the original name of the mine was lost, and it's simply known as Fang Lairs. Thurvakun eventually passed, but a great power remained in the Dwemer halls. Adventurers from all corners of Tamriel sought to plumb the, I think they meant to plunder, the depths of the Fang Lairs, to steal the treasures for themselves, and all met ruin. Now, Orin the Black, a particularly powerful necromancer, and his followers have come to enact a ritual with which to raise the ancient dragon and unleash it upon Earth. So if you guys don't know, Thurvakun was actually in Elder Scrolls Online, or Elder Scrolls Arena, the original game. It was actually in there. You actually went to this place and you actually, met this dragon. It was a really, really cool story and premise. And the way that they fit it into this game to make it where we can have a dragon is because this dragon isn't part of the Skyrim dragons. It's a separate dragon all to itself, and I think that's really cool. So, moving on, Stormcaller, or Scalecaller Peak, was an ancient dragon piece dedicated to the dragon Thurvakun. See, and Thurvakun is how it's supposed to be pronounced. When she was living, her power was immense and her reign seemed unchecked. That is until she was betrayed by her followers and the link between her and her dragon was severed. Her cult spread to the winds to avoid persecution, but still maintained vigil of their fallen lord. Now the time has come, and the descendants of the cult of Scalecaller Peak have the means of bringing the ancient dragon priest back to life. This is going to be a cool one, I think. I think that's going to be really cool, getting to deal with this dragon priest being brought back from the dead, fighting him, defeating him. Sounds pretty cool. So here are where the two dragons are going to be, or the dungeons are going to be. Fang Lairs' interest is in northern Bancori, near the Troll's Toothpick Delve. I know exactly where that is. Great place for it. Scalecaller Peak's entrance is northeastern Stormhaven, north of Windkeep Wayshrine. That's going to be really cool too. Both dungeons include a normal version in addition to a challenging veteran version. You notice how they don't mention a hard mode? It just says normal and veteran. I wanted to point that out. I don't know if that's a foul write-up, but it says normal version in addition to a challenging veteran version. It doesn't say and hard mode. Alright, so you can obtain unique item sets, including 2 new Undaunted monster masks, now only available within these dungeons. Unique achievement awards are also available for completing the dungeons, including unique player skin, unique hat, several titles, and unique housing items. Next up, new collectibles. Renegade Dragon Priest's mask, travel to Fang Lairs or Scalecaller Peak. You automatically get this as soon as you go into them. Boom, automatically. Trophy, defeat Thurvakin in Fang Lairs to take his skeletal dragon head home. Oh my god, I can't wait. Burst, or the bust, defeat him in veteran difficulty to earn the bronze bust of the dragon. Both of these sound really cool, and I can't wait to get both of the trophy and the bust for both of these. That'll be awesome. Black Marrow Necromancer skin, complete the Skullcrawler's Peak Challenger achievement to earn the right to bear these uncanny sigils. And then Worm Wizard, unlock the sinister personality by completing the Fang Lairs Challenger achievement. So that sounds kind of cool. Before I get into these new item sets, there is one light, or two light, two medium, two heavy, and one monster set per. So there's one light per dungeon, one medium per dungeon, one heavy per dungeon, and one monster set per dungeon. But I have to tell you guys, when I first looked at this, I was like, they're going to be nerfed. Because they're going to have to nerf these. These are pretty OP. So we're going to start with the first one, Fang Lairs, Colorin's Legacy Light Set. As you can see, the first 2-piece is spell critical, 3-piece is spell power. Spell critical again, and I'm not sure what this spell power means. I don't know if that means spell damage, but it says spell power. Excuse me. Kind of has me thrown off there. It might be spell damage. But 2 things is spell crit. 1 thing is spell power, which I'm guessing, like I said, is spell damage. And then the 5-piece. When you deal critical damage with a single target magic ability, you launch a fire, ice, shock, or disease ball at the target that deals 12,900 damage and applies a status effect. The effect can occur once every 10 seconds. That is as powerful as a monster set. Like in damage and what it does. That's insane. 12,900 damage. This thing's going to get nerfed. And it applies a status effect based on what you use. So if it's fire, ice, shock, or disease, it's going to do one of those. Now, here's the thing that you guys got to understand. This is dedicated probably to class. I'm going to test this. But fire for DK, ice for Warden, shock for Sork, and disease for Nightblade is my guess. I don't know what they're going to do. Fire might also carry over to Templar. I don't know. We'll have to find out. But it sounds reasonable. Because that's how the classes pertain to what they get the benefits from. But we'll have to see, because that's crazy if it's all of that. Because that's a little OP. So moving on, trappings of the Invigoration, medium armor, 2-piece stamina recovery, 3-piece max stam, 4-piece stam recovery, and then the 5-piece, when you cast an ability while under 33% stamina, you restore 9,000 stamina. This effect can occur once every minute. The cooldown is killer on this, but the idea is really good, especially for PvP. I don't know if it's going to be a PvP viable set. It's probably not going to be a PvE in-game viable set. It is, but it isn't probably going to be used because of the 1 minute cooldown. But it does sound like a really good set for PvP, but that 1 minute cooldown is going to kill it. Alright, moving on. Ulfnir's Favor. This is pretty crazy. Max health for the 2-piece, 3-piece magic recovery, 3-piece also stamina recovery. So you get both magic and stamina recovery. 4 pieces healing taken, which is really good. Increases the magicka or stamina your heavy attacks restore by 30%. This is almost equivalent to Black Rose, but a little better, because you get magicka and stamina recovery, and you get healing taken. But it's just the way that 5th piece, that's crazy. Sorry, it is. That's 30% recovery. This is going to be a really great set for PvP and PvE, because of the fact that there's going to be some things we're going to talk about later down the line that will explain why this is going to be really good. So moving on, the monster set is named after the dragon. That's cool. Max health is the 2-piece, or the 1-piece bonus. The 2-piece bonus is when a nearby enemy damages you, summoning a growing pool of desecrated bile for 8 seconds. Enemies in the bile receive 430 damage every second and are affected with minor maim and minor defile, reducing their damage done and healing received by 15%. This effect can occur once every 8 seconds. So it lasts for 8 seconds. That means it does 430 disease damage every second for 8 seconds. That's 3,000 something damage, almost. Maybe 4,000. Or close to 4,000. But here's the point. That's an awesome tank set. Because it applies minor maim and minor defile. It'll work really good in PvE with the minor maim, and it'll work really good in PvP with the minor defile. But here's the thing. It'll also work really good in PvE against those bosses that have those heals and stuff. It'll help with bringing them down faster. That's an awesome tank set right there. Hands down. Probably, I wouldn't say it's going to be a new meta, but it's definitely going to be infused into some people's builds. Because that's a really cool setup. Alright, moving on. Skullcrawler Peaks drop sets. Starting with Joveolds Guidance, which is the light set. 2-piece Magic Recovery, 3-piece Magic Recovery, 4-piece Healing Done, which is crazy because this makes this a healer set. Increases the duration of all major buffs, minor buffs, and damage shields you apply to yourself and allies by 40%. Holy moly, this might become, and I'm going to say this now, this might become the new DK meta set. Like jewelry, 2 pieces of light, or the sword and board. Because that's crazy. Your Warhorn will last longer. Your minor buffs that you can do for your group. Your damage shields, that means your damage shield 40% stronger on your allies. Your barrier 40% stronger on your... That's crazy. That is crazy. And the fact that it increases your healing done, another improvement. Great for healers. But also, it might even take the place, and I say this with the utmost respect to Wormcold, but it might take the place of Wormcold too for healers. That's a crazy set. We'll have to see what it's like when testing. All right, next up, Plaguesinger. This is the medium set, 2-piece weapon damage, 3-piece max health, 4-piece weapon damage, 2 things of weapon damage and max health. Think about that. And then 5-piece, when you take damage, you summon a Skeever Corpse, which will launch a poison ball that deals 5,160 poison damage every 1.5 seconds at the nearest enemy for 6 seconds. The effect can occur once every 15 seconds. The time of effect is really small, which sucks, but it lasts for 6 seconds. If it lasted 8 seconds, I would say it's good. But it's doing 5,160 damage every 1.5 seconds for 6 seconds. So that means it will apply 4 times 5,160 damage. That's a powerful set, even with the 15-second cooldown. That's a very powerful set. Even though it's got such a high cooldown, or a time of effect, it's that the fact that it does so much damage, that makes it stand out. And makes it more aggressive, if you will. Alright, next up, the heavy set. The Curse of Dolamesh. This is a whole different perspective of the other tank setup above. And I think it's going to throw people off. The 2-piece is max health, 3-piece max health, 4-piece spell damage, 4-piece weapon damage. So it gives both spell and weapon damage. Very similar to the Black Rose. But then, moving on, the 5-piece. When you hit a taunted monster with a fully charged heavy attack, or an enemy that is stunned or immobilized with a fully charged heavy attack, you deal an additional 12,040 physical damage. This effect can occur once every 7 seconds. Listen to this. This is going to happen every 7 seconds. That you fully charge hit a monster that's taunted. So as long as it's taunted, you can do 12,040 physical damage to the thing. And for a tank, that's incredible, especially with the meta, the way it is. Tanks don't do a lot of damage. This gives them a way to apply a really good amount of damage every 7 seconds. That's nuts. That's OP almost. And like I said, guys, all these sets here are OP. They are really OP in a lot of ways. Not that they're like gonna be the new meta, but a lot of them might be the new meta. Alright, moving on to the monster set. Zan. This is based off of the Necromancer that gets resurrected. Spell critical is the 1 piece, and the 2 piece is when you deal critical damage with a light or heavy attack to a nearby enemy, a beam of fire will connect to your enemy. The beam deals 3,440 flame damage every second for 5 seconds. Every second, this damage is increased by 50%. The beam is broken if the enemy moves 10 meters away from you. The effect can occur every 15 seconds. Here's the thing a lot of people are going to look at with this. They're going to be like, oh, this is going to be great for DPS. But look at what it does, and look at the range. You have to be 10 meters from the enemy. That means you have to be pretty dang close. Anyone ever use blood? The blood fountain? Right now it's at 8 meters on the live servers. It's changing, by the way. 8 meters. Think about it. 8 meters. That's really small. This is 2 meters more. That's another, like, 6 feet or something. I don't know. It's not very big. Trust me. And that means you got to be right up on the enemy to keep this effective. Literally. The best options for this, and the fact that it says when you deal critical damage with a light or heavy attack, I know a lot of people are going to argue with this, but this is like a tank's dream set for damage, especially if you're playing a fire DK, or you're playing a DK of some kind who can boost their fire damage, or if you're playing a high elf or a dark elf, this can help you boost that fire damage along with the fire effect being applied. This is crazy, because a lot of these sets, you know, they look like they designed them with a lot of the ideas that don't fit in the meta itself, but can if you make some adjustments. And it's crazy because a lot of these sets are super OP. It's not that they're weak, they're super powerful. And I'm not talking like a little bit. This is insane. 40% max, like, duration. Think about that right now. Warhorn lasts 30 seconds. Increase that by 40%. 30 seconds, that's 15 seconds more almost. You're probably going to get 13 seconds added to it. That means that minor buff, the thing that gives you the major berserk thing, that lasts for 8 seconds, is going to get 40% increase. That means it's going to last for 12 almost. That's even longer. That's going to make that the most powerful healer / tank set in the game when it comes to meta play. How many people do you think are going to be jumping on that right away? A lot of people are going to be trying to get that set right out the door, man. People are going to be flying on that thing because that's an OP set. Then you go up here and you look at this max health tank set. This is just disgusting. I mean, this monster set, it's when you take damage. And then you look at this, you know, this tank set's not too bad, but it's pretty good because it's all about recovery and resource management on a tank. And then you go up here to these other sets. A lot of this stuff's just really super overpowered. So, moving on, new achievements. Dragon Bones comes with more than 35 new achievements, including 4 new titles to unlock. Complete both dungeons on veteran difficulty to unlock the Necrosis Purple Dye. That sounds pretty cool. 2 new battlegrounds. More Kazurg, whatever. It's a orcish, a ruined place in like Orsinium. Destroyed, rebuilt repeatedly. Cycle of Dauntless. But it's going to be a new battleground, and then Deeping Drome sounds really cool because it's a dwarven area. That sounds really cool. I'd love to see these two battlegrounds in action. So I'm not going to test them. I'll probably play them afterwards, to be honest. All right, moving on. Base game updates, outfit system. All right, so new outfit system is now available and allows you to the freedom to customize the visual appearance of your character, including both style and dyes. With outfits, you get to determine the appearance of every aspect of your characters piece by piece, regardless of what you are or aren't wearing underneath. To begin customizing your outfit, simply locate an outfit station, which are available in most cities and displayed on local town maps, and equip an outfit via the drop-down menu. Alright, every dye station previously found in the world has been upgraded into an outfit station. In addition to dyeing your equipment, armor, hats, and costumes, as you did before, these updated stations now also allow you to create and customize the style and dye choices of each slot of your outfits in exchange for gold. You can freely preview as many changes to your outfits as you like, and you will only be charged when you finalize your choices. You can also purchase outfit change tokens in the Crown Store, which allows you to completely bypass the gold cost of an outfit change. You can always choose whether to use gold or outfit change tokens when finalizing your selections. We will be going over all this when we check it out on the PTS. Outfit styles. Before you can modify the appearance of an equipment slot, you first need to unlock the style of the desired appearance. These styles are tracked in a new outfit style category of your collections, which showcase all available styles and provides hints on how to obtain them. That's a pretty cool one. I like this right here. It tells you how to get those styles. All right, learning styles. The primary way to learn styles is by reading motif books or chapters. In addition to unlocking the ability to craft that style, learning the motif also teaches you the ability to how to apply that style to your outfits. As the outfit style knowledge is an account-wide collectible, learning how to craft helms in the glass style, for example, on any character, allows you to override the appearance of helm slots of any outfit on any of your characters. So it's an across-account service. Any style or any motif you learn on any character automatically gets added to your styles in your collectibles, and those collectible styles in your collectibles are account-wide, is what they're getting at. In addition to motifs, completing the Soul Shriven and Cold Harbor quests awards you with a set of prisoners' clothing styles. You can expect additional unique gear and weapons appearances to become available in the future as well. Customization. Each slot of an outfit can be customized individually. Any weight of equipment can be used in your outfits for a given slot. This means that an outfit can override the style of your chest slot to look like heavy armor, cuirass, even when you're wearing light armor. So I'm going to go over this real quick before we get to the weapons part. So any armor you wear, it doesn't matter what, if you're wearing heavy armor, you can make it all look light if you want to, or you can make it all look medium. But it doesn't change the respected element of that gear. So it doesn't make the gear work as medium. It retains what you have on. The outfit just covers the look to give you the appearance of that style or that motif. And that's how it works. The selection appearance persists while the outfit is active, even if you change your equipped armor. That's cool, because that means you can keep it all the time, and even if you change out stuff. You can now set an outfit to hide your current equipment helm with the hide helmet outfit style, which is always available. That's cool. Each outfit selection can be recolored, similar to equipment dyeing, using the same dyes you've unlocked via achievements. So we can unlock dyes and stuff and then use those dyes on any of our outfits. Now remember this, outfit slots, you get one per character. You only get one per character. To buy more outfit slots per character, you have to buy them from the Crown Store. They are not account-wide purchases. They are per character purchases, and that's at least what the devs explained in the live stream. They might explain otherwise here. Okay, so in addition to armor, weapons can also be visually changed through the outfit system. Weapon slots are divided into one-handed weapons, shields, two-handed weapons, bows, and staves. You can customize the primary and backup weapons in an outfit separately, and we'll see the weapon types that you currently have equipped. You can simply swap to change which weapon types you are customizing, or swap weapon sets to adjust your other set. If you only override the appearance of two-handed weapons in your active outfit and then change to dual wielding, you will see the equipped weapons without a style override, whereas switching to another two-hander will continue. So basically, when you set the option in your weapon in the appearance that you want it to look like in the outfit system, let's say you take a sword and you change it to an axe, a one-handed sword, and you change it to an axe, because you can do that. When you go to switch to a two-handed weapon, it's gonna show you the two-handed weapon, not the one-handed axe. That's what they're getting at here. But you can change like one-handed weapons, like any of your one-handed weapons, with any type of one-handed weapon. So if you're using like a one-handed dagger, you can change it to a sword, an axe, a mace, that kind of thing. Same thing with two-handed. But staves only work with staves, bows only work with bows, two-handed weapons only work two-handed weapons, shields only work with shields, and one-handed weapons work with one-handed weapons. And that's kind of cool. I'm glad that they're doing that, that it gives you that variety of options. And no, the weapon does not take on the respected weapon. So if you have a sword equipped and an axe equipped in your offhand, it will be a sword and axe in representation to damage and bonuses and all that. It doesn't take on the other that you outfit it with. Alright, so moving on. Please note that costumes, polymorph hats, and disguises will always override any armor styles in your applied outfit. So if you use a costume, any outfit you create will be overridden. If you use a hat, it'll override the outfit. If you use a disguise, it overrides the outfit. If you use any of those things, it overrides the outfit. Additionally, weapon slots in outfits can be dyed as desired, utilizing the same dyes available in your armor. Yes, really. We can dye our weapons, guys. That's awesome. Material dyes. In addition to the existing dyes, we are also added a new category of material or mixed dyes. These dyes correspond to a color of gear crafted from each of the 10 ranks of durable materials, and each unlocked by deconstructing a piece of equipment made from the materials of that rank. Holy cow, this is cool. So we get the dyes of the materials. We get the dye of the thing we deconstruct, like the material. Holy cow, that's cool. So we get steel, we get like we get rubidite, we get iron, we get those appearance in dyes. That's really cool. For example, deconstructing iron axe will unlock rank 1 materials dye, which matches the colors found in iron, rawhide, jute, maple. Okay, yeah, so that's just what I explained. This allows the flexibility to recreate any look you have found appealing while leveling up through the various tiers of equipment. That is awesome. Thank you, Jebs. That's what I've been waiting for. Something like that. That is cool. Alright, multiple outfits. Everyone receives one free customized outfit per character and can unlock additional outfits in the Crown Store. These outfits are character specific, so you can customize each character uniquely right off the bat. Once an outfit is set, you can switch between outfits at no cost at any time via any of the following. So character UI screen, the new equipment styles category of the collection system, the new outfit station interface itself. You can set these. You can change your thing at any time, your outfit. You may also deactivate the outfit at any time, which will return your appearance to showing your currently equipped gear and cosmetic collectibles. That's cool. Outfits can also be named as you see fit to help track of your growing wardrobe. That's kind of really cool too. Okay, converting to Imperial or convert to Morag Tong are no longer used. The inventory on specific items are instead incorporated into the outfit system. If you possess these collectibles, Imperial or Morag Tong outfit styles are automatically available and do not cost gold to apply to your outfit. This is cool. So we can take Imperial and Morag Tong if you have the collector's editions, and you can incorporate those designs into your appearance at no cost. That's really cool. thank you guys. That is awesome that you guys did that for the people who bought this collector's edition. I think it's awesome. All right, furnishing station. Dice stations found in homes are visually unchanged, but have been upgraded to full outfit stations functionality. All right. A new furnishing with the visual of the new outfit station is now available on the new Master Writ Achievement Mediator. Okay, so if you have the dice station in your house now, it doesn't change. If you want the new look of the outfit station, you can get it through the Master Writs guy. That's kind of cool. All right, so home storage furnishings. This is a cool one, guys. We're pleased to introduce a new form of collectible storage furnishings. These account-wide items allow you to store 30 or 60 items per collectible, depending on the size. You can acquire 4 30-slot coffers or 4 60-slot chests for a combined total of up to 360 storage slots. All 4 coffers share the same visual appearance, but each has a unique name and can be nicknamed for easy organization. Chests work in the same way with their own shared appearance. So each chest and each coffer looks the same, but they have unique names that you can rename to different things so you can utilize them in your house. But remember, these are considered collectibles. So when you put them in your house, they take up collectible space. Alright, unlike bank storage, ingredients stored in chests and coffers will not be used when crafting, and stored equipment will not appear in deconstruction, research, and upgrade windows at crafting stations. Yes! This is where I'm putting all my gear that I don't want to use when I'm, like, the gear I'm holding on to. This is what I'm using my chest for. I'm going to use my bank for all my crafting stuff. This is cool. This is epic. No offense that it is to me. Since these are collectibles, you can place each one in as many homes as you like, and you will see the same items regardless of which home you open in particular coffers. You can purchase storage coffers and chests from Master Crafter Mediator, the Crown Store, or from Telvar Merchants. You can also earn a storage coffer from a level up advisor, detailed below, upon reaching level 18. If you have not already purchased it. That's pretty cool too. So moving on to the next one, new homes. A number of new homes are available to test during the PTS update. Cold Harbor Surreal Estate, Princely Dawnlight Palace, and the Estwal Sanctuary. I'm not going to go into these too much because I don't do a lot of stuff with homes, but all 3 of these sound really cool and probably look really awesome. I'll probably use one in my PTS testing. I'll probably use the Sanctuary because it's supposed to be like a Dark Brotherhood place. Master Rift updates. So they're doing some changes to the Master Rift updates. Nothing major. It's just some minor stuff. Level Up Advisor. This is cool. So the new system is designed to teach new players about the many facets of combat and progression in ESO. It contains useful rewards for new and veteran players alike as you progress from 2 to 50, and every 5 levels you receive a milestone reward with something special such as a mount, crown crate costume, or a helpful weapon. Simply open the character UI to claim your rewards. Below you'll find a list of the rewards. So at level 5 you get 2 grain quality rings, part of a 2-piece item set that grants max health bonus. So that's pretty cool. At level 10, you get the Surreal Horse. That is awesome. That is really cool because that's the 10K horse that's in the stables now. People are going to be able to get it for free. That's super cool. 15, a choice of 6 blue quality weapons. That's pretty cool. Oh, for items when you get your swap bars. That's cool. 20, custom choice of a Fire Antarok crown crate and a costume of choice and a fire. Okay, you get both. A choice of 6 purple quality weapons. Wow. 4,000 gold and a Fire Antarok crown crate. All right. A choice of 10 purple quality crafting improvement materials. That's at 35. That's good too. 40, you get 6,000 gold and soul shriven motive and an outfit token. That's cool. At 45, you get an Undaunted key. Oh, so they're going to take that, maybe they'll take that out of the Undaunted, like sending the mail, you just get the key now. That's pretty cool. And 50, you get 10,000 gold and a Fire Antarok key. That's real. I'm not for this, but you also have to remember this. These rewards, a lot of these milestone rewards like this, is one. You only get one of these per account. You only get this once per account, okay, on the astronauts. Everything else, as far as you know, and this is once per account. Everything else you can get as many times as you want. But what I'm really surprised about, honestly, is how they did it. It sounds really good. And I'm pretty sure this is once per account too. Like some of these milestone things they said is once per account. So I'm sure some of these are going to be that way, which is cool. But I still like the idea. So the new system makes recommendations on how to spend skill points based on the build you select. You can use this system to mold your character as you're leveling up, or to help you re-specialize your build after reaching max level. To support this system, we've made some adjustments in the UI. The skill menu has been modified to accommodate the skill advisor system. Abilities and morphs will now be listed as recommended based on the build selected. Morphed abilities will now display the base ability name in their tooltips, okay? Note that the skill advisor can be toggled on or toggled off at any point. That's pretty cool too. We are getting a 30-point champion point increase, taking the total champion points to 720, and the champion point experience curve has been automatically adjusted with the new level cap. So earlier champion points require less experience and can be earned faster. This will allow people to get to that 300, like CP 160 faster, and then the 300 CP mark a lot quicker. This next part, I'm not too gonna say I'm happy with, and I don't think a lot of other people will be either. And that's the removal of the 32-bit client. If you don't have a 64-bit operating system right now, you're still running off a 32-bit operating system, after this update, you will not be allowed to play the game. That's it. That's as simple as I can put it. But if you do want to play the game and your computer will handle and run a 64-bit client, like a 64-bit operating system, you can upgrade your system to a new 64-bit operating system, and you'll be able to play the game again, continue playing. But if you don't, and you have a 32-bit operating system, that means if you're running at Windows XP, Windows Vista, Windows 7 with a 32-bit client, or even Windows 10 with 32-bit client, you won't be able to play it after this update. It sucks to hear that, but yeah, life goes on, we move on, technology advances, we advance. This is technology advancing. It sucks, but if they choose to drop the 32-bit client, there's nothing we can do. Crafting economy, the outfit system, all gold costs for this system are subject to change based on testing on the PTS, which I hope they listen to us, because some of us, we don't mind spending a decent amount of gold, but the fact that it can cost upwards to like 30,000 gold to change an outfit is a little absurd. When you go to change like your character, respec your character, it already cost you 30,000 gold if you have a lot of champion points spent. This just makes it worse in wanting to change that structure to your character, to redefine them. It just makes it worse, and I hope that they listen to us on this thing. Renaming outfits other than your first outfit, while add-in outfits will switch you back to the first outfit. Okay, so they're just doing some things. These are known issues. Let's go on. We're going to skip a lot of this stuff. I do want to go over this real quick, because for those who are going to be on PTS and mess with templates, our templates this time will only, for this update, will only start with 100,000 gold, not 1 million, or 100 million, or whatever we had last time. And character templates now include agility, endurance, and willpower, weapons, and jewelry. Thank you, devs. There's some of us who've been wanting to test these, and we haven't had access to them. This will give us a good way of testing, like 3-piece, 5-piece, and monster sets really well, without using other 3-piece sets. These are viable sets, by the way. They're just not optimal sets to use for in-game. They are viable sets for in-game. So, yeah, I'm really excited about that. But as part of the testing, the new outfit system, we'd like you to use and consume the motive book and ensure that you learn the crafting style knowledge, but unlock associated outfit styles collectibles as well. We'll be returning the grant motive knowledge directly functionally to character templates in a future PTS patch. So right now they want us to consume motive books and make sure all the outfit system is working right now. Later on, they will add the grant motive knowledge directly, so our characters can learn all the motives. But for now, we're stuck. Alright, we're going to skip all this stuff. This is just simple fixes and things like that. Yada, yada, yada. We want to skip all this. Warden fixes or balances. Healing Seed, they reduce the cost of this ability and its morphs by approximately 28%. This is going to save the Warden healers a lot of resources from Healing Seed, and that's really good. Animal Companion, they fixed an issue where this ability and its morphs were not being considered damage over time effects for various passive bonuses or procs. So now Thaumaturge should work with Swarm, which will be really good for those Magicka DPS characters that use that. It'll really play on that and should make better things. Moving on. Getting past this. Vixen Maw Lockjaw, by the way. Item sets, Twilight Remedy, Moondancer, and Lunar Bastion, and Roar of Valkrush were not properly displaying their special purple visual effects, and were instead displaying the effects of their enchantment. They fixed that. Alright, so here we are. We're in the combat balance. So this is a big one, guys. Area of effect abilities now deal full damage to all targets hit, instead of having the damage penalty after hitting 7 or more. And secondary effects for those area of effect abilities, snares, stuns, and stuff, is still capped at 6 targets. So area of effect damage affects all enemies in that area, no matter what. And it affects them to their full amount. This is going to make AoE play in not only PvE, but PvP really, 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 really crazy. And I hope that the devs know what they're doing. Now, they do say something down here, the spoiler dev comment. We want to encourage more tactical group play, where players are encouraged to spread out instead of stacking in a tight ball, where we're still evaluating this aspect of AoE caps, and we'll make adjustments in the future as necessary. So I agree with what they're saying. It is an issue in PvP when you have a people Zerg ball, and they are all stuck together and they can just stay that way, and the AoEs don't hurt them as much. This way, now the AoEs are going to hurt them. Zerg balls are going to spread out more. This is going to be good for tactical gameplay in PvP. But here's where it's going to really play good. It's not only our area of effects that are being affected by this, it's enemy area of effects as well. So that means in trials, playing the Zerg in a trial, playing in a ball, isn't going to be wise. You're going to want to spread out a little bit more. Otherwise, that AoE is just going to nuke everybody. Just saying. Cast times and interrupts. Rebalance the global globally and updated all cast time and channel abilities along with the rule set of interrupting those abilities. You remember earlier when I was talking about that one set and how it was going to affect some things in the game? Yeah, this is kind of what I was getting at, is this area of the content. Because it's not just in the cast times and interrupts, there's more to it than that. But this plays into it, and this also plays into it. So, moving on, reduce the movement speed while casting or channeling an ability, up ability to a 25% penalty, up from 50%. So they reduced the penalty for when you're casting certain things from being like a turtle, slow motion, to actually a decent speed, which is really good. Melee cast times and channel abilities, uppercut, puncturing strikes, and some ranged abilities, rapid fire, will still be are still exceptions to this rule and allow you to move at full speed. When an ability is interrupted, it is now put on a 3-second cooldown where it cannot be used. So now, when somebody interrupts your uppercut in PvP, you got 3 seconds where you can't use it, so it cannot be spammed now. Thank God. Well, uppercut still is an exception, so. But if it's interrupted, it is, certain things are 3-second cooldown. I'm glad they did this. Heavy attacks are still exceptions to the rule and cannot be interrupted. But melee cast time and channel abilities, ultimates, soul strike, blah, 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 and heavy attacks, those ones are not affected. I really wish Uppercut was affected by the 3-second cooldown. But there is some abilities that, like Uppercut, you know, where people just spam them, like biting jabs, those kind of things. I hope that this, because that's considered a channeled ability, I hope that's part of it. I hope that's part of the things that can be interrupted and put the 3-second cooldown, because I hate that in PvP when you get those Templars running up and they just brrr, like rapid fire machine gun in you. It's annoying. When a cast time or channeled ability is interrupted, you will be staggered, stunned, and set off balance. After the stun ends, you gain crowd control immunity. Not until then. And this is going to play on something later on. Crowd control immunity now grants immunity to all interrupt effects. After a cast time or channeled ability is interrupted, you will be immune to any further interrupts until crowd control immunity wears off. This rule only applies to players. Monsters are still exceptions. They can be interrupted as much as you want. There, you will also will now see a red interruptible telegraph on enemy player characters if they are casting or channeling an interruptible ability and are not crowd control immune. That's pretty cool. So next up, we're going to go into Synergies, and they do a lot of stuff with Synergies. Honestly, a lot of it sounds really good. They just updated a lot of the cooldowns. They updated the or they removed the Synergies from global cooldowns and now be activated while using abilities. Synergies now have a shared 1-second cooldown with other Synergies. They increase the cooldown for each individual Synergy to 30 seconds from 20 seconds. So, yeah, that kind of sucks, but Synergies now display unique prominent visual effects indicating if a Synergy is available and can be used by your character. The visual effect will be hidden if you are on cooldown for that particular Synergy or otherwise unable to use Synergies. Now, I want to go back up here to this one of the 30-second and explain what the dev said. With Synergies being off the global cooldown, this change was implemented to reduce the amount of potential Synergy spam you can receive. Because they're right. In Dungeons and Trials, there's a lot of Synergy spam. People try to spam Synergies to get them to work. And with them now, well, we hope working, if they are working as intended, you'll only be able to activate, is from what I'm to understand, 1 Synergy every 30 seconds. So that way there's not a lot of it like going off in the screen, which can create screen lag and things like that. They updated tooltips for Synergy abilities to better describe their effects, and the name of the Synergy is now highlighted in the tooltip. Synergies will now grant the Synergy prompt to the 3 closest allies to the center of the Synergy, up from only 1 ally. If one ally uses the Synergy, the prompt will be removed for the other 2 allies. The Purify, Hidden Refresh, Blood Funnel, all this kind of stuff, the prompt is given to all allies in the area and that meet the conditions of the Synergy, and the prompt will be removed for all. They fixed an issue with numerous Synergies. We're granting the Synergy prompt to the furthest ally instead of the closest, and we're granting the Synergy prompt to pets and NPCs instead of players. So that's been fixed, guys. Hopefully we get the Synergy stuff back. They fixed an issue where you could have multiple Synergy prompts on you at a time, causing prompts to fluctuate back and forth between the completing Synergies. They fixed an issue where the Supernova, Gravity Crush, and Hidden Refresh Synergies had a Magicka cost, and then some individual Synergies have received additional fine-tuning and rebalancing. So we'll have to take a look at that right now. Blood Altar. Increase the radius of minor lifesteal debuff applied by this ability and its morphs to 28 meters from 8 meters. Slightly adjusted the visual effects due to the radius increase. So here's the thing you have to understand. Blood Altar is a huge radius. Okay? And 28 meters is a lot. Now remember what I was talking about, that one set that increased people's buffs by so much? This would be increased because it is a lifesteal debuff on the enemy. It would be increased in its power, and yeah, that's crazy. Blood Altar just became an effective thing in group play, at least in dungeons, like normal and vet dungeons. I wouldn't say so much in trials, but it could still be something that could be even used in trials with a 28-meter radius. So the minor lifesteal debuff applied by this ability and its morphs will no longer aggro monsters either. So that's a bonus. Blood Funnel and Blood Feast, Blood Altar and its morphs increase the radius of those prompts by 28. Bone Wall and the Spinal Surge, which is the Bone Shield and its morphs, the prompt will now be available up to 6 seconds after Bone Shield is cast, and even if the Bone Shield caster damage shield is removed. It grants a damage shield for 100% of your max health for 6 seconds instead of 60% of your max health for 10 seconds. And they explain why they made this change. We've shortened the duration of the damage shield to match the duration of all other damage shields in the game, but increased the value of the damage shield to compensate. That's a little bit of compensation. Like 40% more of a damage shield? That's crazy. This makes Bone Shield a very powerful asset for group play, because people can synergize off it even after it's been removed from the caster. 6 seconds is, the 6 second cast time. So if an ally uses the synergy and applies the damage shield to you, you will now also be placed on cooldown for that synergy. The Spinal Surge synergy from Bone Surge Morph now grants major vitality instead of minor vitality, which is pretty freaking cool. I'm not gonna lie. Combustion and Healing Combustion, Necrotic and Orb and its morphs. Fixed an issue where using this energy would not explode the closest orb to you. Frozen Retreat, which is it is a thing for a warden that allows you to pull enemies to you or allows you to move yourself to allies, like teleport. Also grants major expedition for 8. So this is the one that teleports you after teleporting, and it renamed it to Icy Escape. That's pretty cool. Hidden Refresh, Consuming Darkness, and Morphs. This prompt is now visible to allies under 70% health, up from 50% health. Increase the movement speed to 70% from 50%, and the movement speed bonus and heal over time are now separate components from the invisibility bonus and will remain on your character for 4 seconds regardless if the invisibility is broken or not. That's pretty cool. Moving on, Impale, which is the Dark Talons and its morphs, now only damages enemies held within the talons instead of all enemies around you, and increase the damage done by approximately 25%, and they renamed it to Ignite. So Impale was the one that caused fire damage, I think it is, and the other one, or like Smoldering Talons or something, is the other morph. So this one's going to be called Ignite now, and it's going to do 25% more bonus damage, or more damage, and or is going to increase the damage by approximately 25%. But now it only damages the enemies held by the talons, which is really good. Right, move on. And they even explain why. Since the synergy now specifically hits enemies held within the talons, we've increased the damage to deal to compensate. Radiate, which is Inner Fire and its morphs. The prompt is now only visible to ability our allies position further than 18 meters away from the taunted enemy. So the prompt is now only visible to allies positioned far away instead of those up close. This is going to be great for those magic casters and stuff to have a synergy to play off of and stuff. So that's kind of good. Spawn Broodlings, Black Widows, and Arachnophobia, Trapping Webs and its morph. This is an Undaunted ability. The prompt is now visible to allies positioned further than 18 meters away from the webbed enemy. And they explain why. We've changed the synergies, some such as Blood Spawning Broodlings and Radiate, to only be available to ranged players. The balance for this balances the amount of synergies available to both melee and ranged, which is really good. The prompt will now be available to all enemies within the webs, even if they cannot be snared. This means the prompt will be available against boss or a flying enemies, so that's cool. The Spider Summon now inherit your damage done bonuses like Major and Minor Berserk or Mighty Champion passives. Holy cow. Fixed an issue where the Spider Summon would throttle their attacks against the same target. They now use their bite attack as quickly as they are able to, approximately every 1.5 seconds. That's good. That makes this a really good optional set or a skill to use. Moving on, Storm Atronach summoned by this ability and its morphs now inherit your damage done bonuses such as Major and Minor Berserk, Elemental Expert, Champion Passive, and the Atronach also uses the highest of your Magicka or Stamina-based stats instead of using an average of your Magicka and Stamina-based stats. This will result in higher damage done for Magicka or Stamina builds, but may result in less damage done for hybrid builds. Well, that makes sense. The Atronach summoned by this ability and summon charged Atronach morph now lasts for 21 seconds up from, wow, that's crazy. That's good. All right, block cost. This is the one that's going to throw everybody into a tizzy, but that's okay. Please understand this is a good change. So they decreased the cost of block by to 1730 from 2160. It's not much. It's a 400-point drop, guys, but it's enough to make a difference. And I know a lot of people are going to be like, rah, 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 rah. But here's the part that's really going to get people. Jewelry enchantments that reduce the cost of block are now subtracted from this base cost first, then percentage reductions of the cost of block are applied. This means stacking jewelry enchantments and block cost reduction passives will now be less effective than before. Ancient Knowledge Destruction Pass now reduces the cost of block by 18 and 36% up from 15 and 30%. Now, I'm going to show you what the devs said about this and why it's important. So, the changes to block costs are meant to reduce the extreme differences between builds that are specialized in blocking and the ones that do not. We've lowered the base cost of block to ensure that all builds can have an easier time blocking attacks without being completely drained of stamina. We also changed block cost jewelry enchantments to work similar to magic and stamina cost reduction jewelry enchantments. Builds utilizing those enchantments and other reductions to block costs were too effective at keeping block up. Finally, we've buffed Ancient Knowledge so that it is comparable to Fortress passive, which brings the gap between traditional sword and shield tanking and frost staff tanking closer. Now, I want to highlight this. First, they're not doing this to hurt tanking. They're doing this to affect builds being built around block cost reduction. Because these guys are literally can stand and hold block almost indefinitely. It doesn't matter if they're in a dungeon, a trial, PvP, everywhere. They can literally hold block for almost the entire encounter. And some of these guys have found ways to basically manipulate the system to where they have unlimited block cost. This helps with all block cost reduction. This doesn't account just for sword and shield. This also helps block costs with other weapons too, and it makes it more viable for other weapons to be used in the tanking space, not just sword and board. Even though sword and board is the most effective at block cost play when it comes to block builds. It is the most effective block build play. But you will be able to make other builds that can work with block cost just as effective, just as cheap, but not as effective. So there's a lot of different play styles here, like I've mentioned in some of my other videos, that haven't been entertained yet, or haven't been built yet, or haven't been found yet because of things like this. Things that set them apart from other things, like this Ice Staff. Ice Staff was good, but it wasn't good. And the thing about sword and board tanking and Ice Staff tanking is they're the introductory tanking things. It's not that they're meant to be forever used as tanking. They are the better choices in it, and they do allow it to be more optimal, but they're also the easier versions to use, the easier items to use for it. Whereas fire, lightning, two-handed, dual wield, and bow don't work quite the same, and they're not as good, but it's still viable options. We just haven't found the optimal setups for them yet. When it comes to tanking, or even, DPS, or a lot of other things, there's just a lot of things we haven't figured out. But this right here really does say that they're listening to the community, they're listening to our concerns, and they're trying to make the best adjustments they can to where it's not going to affect a grander large portion of players. It's going to affect everyone in a respected way, but also make it viable in other ways. It kind of stands out. It's not bad. It's not good. It's in the middle. It's a gray area. And they hit that gray area really good, I think. And I like this change. Next up, heavy attacks and off-balance. Using a heavy attack against an off-balance enemy will now only consume the off-balance debuff if the enemy is successfully stunned. So that means if you actually stun the enemy successfully when you heavy attack them, that's when it consumes off-balance. Otherwise, it will not. That means using a heavy attack against an off-balance enemy, a boss enemy, will not consume the off-balance effect, as bosses are immune to crowd control effects. But they are not immune to off-balance. So that's going to be nice. The behavior also applies to Power Lash ability. You can now Power Lash on an enemy until the off-balance effect expires or is consumed. Using heavy attacks against an off-balance enemy player character will now stun them in the same way that it stuns monsters. This new behavior also applies to Power Lash. You can use Power Lash to stun players. Using fully charged heavy attacks against an off-balance enemy will now restore double the amount of resources. Now, listen to that for a second, because I've been saying this for a long time. Tanks have to focus on light and heavy attacks more than DPS did. But now DPS, because of the resource changes done in Morrowind, they have to focus on doing heavy attacks in their rotations every once in a while. This makes using a heavy attack more effective for DPS, but it also makes it really effective for tanks as well, because now they can heavy attack to get double the resources back, plus all those other resources they're going to get from things like wearing 5 pieces of heavy armor and using the replenish thing, or using tenacity to get even more. Plus the 30% you normally get. That means you're going to get 60% back from your heavy attacks on your resource return. That's a really, really powerful resource management tool now. Heavy attacks are going to be necessary. They already were, but now they're going to be even more necessary to keep resources coming in. This is really, really good. And it's only against enemies that are against an off-balance enemy. So only those enemies that have off-balance will you get the double resource return. So this is what you're going to want to do. You're going to want to watch for those off-balance enemies to get that greater return of resources from those heavy attacks. This is great. This is a great change. It's not a super effective change, to be honest, but it's a great change because of that off-balance effect. Now remember, they do have to be off-balance for that double return to happen, but because of all the ways resource management works, this is going to play into that just as effectively now. Boss enemies can be set off-balance once every 15 to 20 seconds. After the first off-balance debuff ends on a boss, they will be immune to the subsequent off-balance debuff until the immunity duration is over. So bosses can be affected by off-balance and will become immune after the duration, and then after the duration, they can be reapplied off-balance. So this is really good. The off-balance visual effects are now larger and more prominent in the enemy. Has a larger model scale. That's kind of cool. The ground-based area of effect abilities will now persist after you leave combat rather than being removed immediately. You guys ever dropped a wall of lightning, killed an enemy, and all of a sudden it just disappears? And there's like 3 other enemies around? This will now stay and keep its effect until it wears out. So that's really good. They talk about the heavy attack and off-balance changes here. We changed the way off-balance debuff works in dungeons and trial situations so there is more consistency for all groups and how this debuff is applied and used. Heavy attacks and abilities such as Flame Lash no longer immediately consume off-balance debuffs against bosses, so you don't penalize your group for capitalizing on an off-balance opportunity. We're also significantly increasing the resources you receive when using heavy attacks on off-balance enemies, so builds that have sustain issues now have a clear window of time to fill magicka or stamina bars back up. Finally, bosses are now immune to off-balance for a short period of time, this makes heavy attack usage more strategic, as there is a limited amount of time during the fights when usage is optimal. See, now the devs, they're not only listening, but they're also putting in strategic placement of when we should be using these abilities, when we should be activating stuff, and making sure we can keep our resources managed at the same time. It's not that they're not paying attention. They just have to find the right way to put things in effectively to make them good. And this is good. It's not great, but it's good. It's better than what it was before. All right, so moving on. Nightblade Assassination Teleport Strike. Decrease the damage dealt by this ability and its morphs by approximately 13%. Gap Closer abilities. And they say here, we decrease the damage values of numerous Gap Closer abilities, not just Teleport Strike, but other changes such as Critical Charge and Focus Charge, as well as Gap Closers in ESO have no cooldown and can hit for extreme amounts of damage, so there is very little opportunity cost in forcing the enemies to use them. Decreasing their damage ensures the ranged players utilizing movement and terrain to maintain their distance are better rewarded for the advantage. And they got a point. So, Adric's Spear ability, Focus Charge, decrease the damage dealt by this ability and its morphs by approximately 18%. Puncturing Strikes, another Adric's Spear ability, restoring, they refactored the damage done by this ability and its morphs so it works more intuitively with damage taken bonuses on the enemy. Previously, Puncture Strike's damage, bonus damage to the closest enemy would be additive with damage taken bonuses such as minor vulnerability. Note, this will result in increased damage on targets with minor vulnerability. Okay, that makes sense. I'm not happy with this, but okay. So they critical charge, they decrease the damage dealt by this ability and its morphs by approximately 11%. Critical Rush, they decrease the damage bonus based on the distance traveled granted from this morph from 68 to 40%. That's gonna really affect this in PvP, but it's also gonna make it to where people can't misuse it, and a lot of people misuse it. And I think this is a great one too. They decreased the duration of the snare applied to this morph to 4 seconds from 8 seconds. So, Shield Charge decreased the damage dealt to this ability and its morphs by approximately 20%. This thing didn't have a lot of damage to deal in the first place unless you were using the one that did more damage. But, okay, I'll live with the 20%. Werewolf, Pounce, decreased the damage dealt by this ability and its morphs by approximately 16%. Moving on, Alliance War, Assault Skills, Magic Detonation. Reduce the cast time of this ability and the detonation morph by approximately 1.5 seconds from 1.8 seconds. Moving on, they did some fixes in here and stuff, and pretty much that's kind of it. They did some general itemization fixes, fixed an issue where numerous class abilities were not interacting correctly with Overwhelming Surge or Innate Axiom item sets. And then Soulshine, they fixed an issue where the set bonus was not applying Solar Barrage. Storm Knight, they fixed an issue where the 2- and 3-piece bonuses were were granting a lower amount of spell resistance than intended. They go over a lot of other fixes and combat and gameplay fixes with different enemies and things. But honestly, and they changed crafting motives, like the degree at which the rarity is, and how often you can get them. So they changed a lot of that stuff. They also changed how to get the glass motive. They changed a few things in here, but honestly, nothing is as detrimental as some of the combat changes, as some of these other changes that are happening to the game to kind of balance things out a little bit better and balance things out a little bit more. But the main thing that they're doing with this update is the outfit system, the storage system, and then the dungeons and the dungeon sets. That's the main thing coming into this. And I think that, the skill advisor system and level up advisor, that's all good. All this stuff is really good. I love a lot of these changes that they're, the new stuff they're adding. I like some of the changes coming in, but what I really like And honestly, is I like a lot of these gear sets. A lot of them are really standing out to me, and some might become some of my main sets for some of my characters. It just depends. I've got to really test some of these out, but some of them are looking really, really good. I'm not going to say they're all OP, but a lot of them are really showing like some really good stuff. This is the only one that I think is bad, is this set. All the other sets look really good. This one looks amazing. It increases your stamina and your stamina and magic of your heavy attacks by 30%. Holy cow, that's just crazy. I'm sorry, it's just crazy to me. And then down here, this one that increases your major buffs, minor buffs, and damage shields you apply to yourself and your allies by 40%. Yeah, that's awesome. Damage shields just became a major freaking use now. Major and minor buffs all buffed up. Oh my god, that's just sick. And like I said, a lot of these aren't they're powerful. They're not they're OP, but they're not like a lot of these might not replace the meta, but a lot of them just kind of make them stand out and go, I wonder how I can make this work. And that's pretty much what it is. They are OP. I mean, come on. Some of these are OP. Like this one, 12,040 physical damage every 7 seconds. When you fully charge heavy attack a monster that's been taunted, that's crazy. That's just crazy. Wow. But we'll have to see. We'll have to get in, test this stuff, and that's where I'm going to be heading right after I get done uploading this video and publishing it for you guys. Is I'm going to be getting in PTS, and I'm going to be messing around with all this stuff. So thank you to the devs, thank you to Gina and Mike Finnegan, all you guys, Richard Lambert, Matt Furr, even Warble, for bringing us such a great game and continuing to update it and make it something better. Now, I'm not going to say all these updates are the best choices. They're not, some are good, bad, like in a gray area change, but we'll have to see. We'll have to test and see where it leads and how well it affects the game. So, but that's pretty much it, guys. I hope you guys liked this video. If you did, hit that like button. If you guys want to see more videos by me, hit that subscribe button. Other than that, I want to thank you all for watching, and keep your eyes out this week for more videos to come, because I will be covering each of these things that we talked about in here, from the outfitter stations to the chest system and one of the new houses, of course. I will be doing a lot of stuff on PTS. I will be testing the dungeons. I've already got some of my groupies, some of my friends downloading the PTS, so we can test the dungeons for you guys and bring you guys some video of those dungeons and their mechanics. It'll be really cool. So, yeah, but that's pretty much it. Other than that, thanks for watching. Until next time, have a wonderful day, and this guy will see you in game. Bye.